Welcome to Talkback for our Rogue One trailer reaction review. I am Half Hope.
Well, look, welcome to Talkback.
Yoshi.
Oh God. Okay, guys, welcome to Talkback.
Wow, I just said that.
This is a special presentation. Rogue One trailer. Full trailer, actually, the last trailer that just came out. And we felt for the show, seeing as this is a special presentation, we're going to have a couple of guests here. We already know Half Hope. We already know Phantom of Hope, who's back again. One of the old veterans who's been a guest on the show a couple of times. And we have Yoshi, who's going to represent the female voice, because obviously this movie and the Star Wars franchise in general has gone in that direction, you know, with having female leads and so forth. So we felt it would be fitting to have a female voice on the hot seat. So look, I think in general terms, a lot's already been said about Force Awakens, which came out last year.
So we should just give like our initial thoughts. Everyone just get like initial thoughts that we can go into.
A lot's already been said about Force Awakens and so forth, which connects into Rogue One, because obviously, as we know, Rogue One also has a female lead that is going in a different direction. Blah, 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 blah. They're releasing a movie a year, and so on and so forth. So it sort of connects to it. That being said, we already had a teaser trailer before, so we knew some of the vibes, but we're talking specifically about this one because this was probably the most expansive trailer with a lot more dialogue and all that sort of things. So I'm going to give my thoughts, and then we'll just go around, you know, everybody give their thoughts. So basically for me, you know, we already made the review of Force Awakens, and you already know my thoughts on that. You know, I was really to even say unhappy with that movie is like even an understatement. Like, you know, it was a bad experience for me as a Star Wars guy, and I retired. You know, I basically retired. You know, I'm officially saying that, you know, I retired from Star Wars after Force Awakens. You know, I'm kind of finished. You know, I'm an old man. The movie just really woke me up, gave me a wake up call. But this Rogue One thing, I was like, you know, my initial reaction when I saw the first teaser, and then when I saw it's like, it feels like it's the same character. I'm not going to leave it at that, but it feels like, what is the difference between this character and Rey? I don't really know, because I'm like, they're both similar accent, similar build, similar look, similar everything. So it's like, I don't understand what the difference is between these two guys. But anyway, that's like my first instinct, and I'll go into a lot of other details, but, you know, I'll let everybody else give their initial thoughts.
I mean, basically, my thing is I've got to give this precursor that, you know, I am one of the few people who isn't a Star Wars fan. I like Star Wars just, you know, sort of flagrantly, but gun to my head, I'll take Shatner, Star Trek, over anything from Star Wars. And looking at this whole...
Not fair, you have to imagine Star Trek without Shatner.
No, I can't. No. It has to be with Shatner.
There's no competition.
Okay, so basically, with the whole Rogue One thing, certain things that people need to understand. The trailer for Godzilla was visually very good. Extremely boring film. The visuals for this Rogue One trailer, both of them, especially this one, very good. What I'm seeing here is potentially a boring film, which is why there have been so many reshoots. The lead character for this is crap. I can't tell the difference between her and Rey, or whatever she's called, Daisy, Daffodil, or whatever. And again, the lines that she's delivering, are you trying to be tough? Because you don't look tough. You look like if anybody blew you, you would pretty much break in this life and in the afterlife as well. So I just do not get what they're trying to do with the character. And for me, the worst part of the trailer was when she was walking up towards the TIE fighter, and that was supposed to be her being tough. It looked stupid. It looked completely and utterly stupid. And the thing that makes me most angry is that Donnie Yen. How do you have Donnie Yen in a Star Wars film, and is there now questions whether he could be a Jedi or not a Jedi? This is Donnie Yen. Have you seen the XXX trailer? Guys, press pause, watch the XXX trailer. and look at what Donnie Yen does in that thing and tell me how that is not a Jedi. So, trailer as a whole for me, visually good. I don't trust the director based off Force Awakens, which was a remake of A New Hope, and I want J.J. Abrams to give me back my money with interest during this whole Brexit situation. I do not trust the corporately led Kathleen Kennedy. You know, basically, that means he needs to pay me in interest and more money, basically. I do not trust the corporate-led Kathleen Kennedy, feminist-fueled Star Wars franchise that has been now done by Kathleen and her rich people. Yoshi, Pete?
Well, I'll keep mine quite pithy before we go into...
Pithy?
Before we go into...
Spitting! Okay, yeah.
In depth into different points. Basically, when I saw the teaser, I triple took because I thought that was there extra footage from Force Awakens, because I thought it was the same movie. Basically, I don't understand the whole point about why are we here? Why has this whole thing begun? Because 3 movies were made. And the whole point about those 3 original movies, each of them has a very distinct identity. That's what Star Wars gives you. But now somehow Kathleen Kennedy and her team have figured out a way to make something that original, that creative, into something formulaic and contrived. And it's not feminist. I'm categorically saying in here and now, it's not a feminist movie. It doesn't empower women in any way. It patronizes and it panders. And I believe that it's going to be a very stunted movie because you've got, like, the Kingdom of Heaven syndrome, a weak lead with...
To Rise of Night.
With exceptional supporting cast that have been dwarfed to compensate for a weak lead.
Pete?
Well, I mean, all I'll say in a nutshell is that trailer has strong visuals. I mean, exceptionally strong visuals. I thought the initial trailer was good. I mean, on seeing this trailer again, those are bloody good visuals. I'm sorry, but those are bloody good.
Wait, you're sorry?
No, all I'll say is that at the end of the day, the problem with it is that from Godzilla that this guy wouldn't be able to back them up. So probably they've got in now, and they've obviously had that, they've had extensive reshoots. Maybe about 60-70% of the movie's been reshot. That's obviously a recipe for disaster. But let's go to this Jane Eyre or whatever the heck her name is. I'll tell you something very, very simple. You've rebooted your Star Wars franchise with 2 successful British female leads. On any level, if it was Chinese, black, blue, green, why would you start your franchise with 2 black female leads? Or 2 Chinese female... Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why you knock them... the knock-on is that you've had 2 of the same thing. It's bizarre. Just statistically, it's weird. Unless you think you're uniquely onto a good formula. And then we took character performance. Said it before, I'll say it again. If you do need a female lead, she's got to be exciting. Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. Give us a bit of cake.
I'm right.
Yeah, like Tank Girl. That's what I've always said. If not, you wind up with this character who every line she's delivering is delivered in the most... It's weird. It's almost like
it's really out of place, man. It doesn't fit into Star Wars at all.
It's like her characterization is this sort of like, oh, okay, and then I'll do it. Well, may the Force be with you. I mean, like,
I'll rebel.
That sort of thing where it's almost like
Downton Abbey.
It's like she's on top of it. She's not really in it.
There's a flavor she has where. It's almost like I'm a drama actress that's deigning to do Star Wars.
Exactly.
You can't have that attitude. Either you're all in or get out.
And it's wrong. It's wrong, and it's unfortunate. I mean, you should really see what happens when what's her name, Gwendolyn Christie, shows her action figure at the Star Wars Celebration, and her reaction to it.
Well, who mean Felicity Jones?
Felicity Jones' reaction when she was shown her action figures, like, and then obviously you can look at John Boyega's reaction when he saw his action figure. Then look at Ray's, what's that?
Violet's
Daisy Ridley's reaction. The thing is that all you guys watching this, I know what you're going to do, because when people have a certain attitude about things, you're never going to convince them. You guys who like Star Wars and are watching it and were the reason why this thing made all that money are going to go, you guys, you can't be changed. All I want you to do is just remember what Phantom of Hope told you. Some call me Sir William, some call me P.T. Hemingsley. Just don't forget what I'm telling you right now. Star Wars is going down. And Star Wars is going down because what's her face? Kathy Kennedy is bringing a policy to it that is incompatible with the nature of Star Wars. It's that simple. Her policy is incompatible long term with it, and you're seeing that in the Rogue One trailer.
And I think Lucas actually he knows this.
Of course, who cares about that? Didn't you show some image of him eating food in a restaurant?
Like George
Lucas. When I say George Lucas he has very filthy, dirty hands. Is that it's a double-edged sword. He must be rubbing his palms together, gloating, knowing that without me, what you're doing is destroying Star Wars. So by default, you're making what I did even greater, despite my crimes of episode 1, 2, and 3.
I'll tell you something, Yoshi.
But at the same time, George Lucas, all you will ever be is Star Wars. So now you're in a situation where you've destroyed your own legacy, but then at the same time, you've proven the value of your original legacy. So it's like, I don't even know how to deal with...
Well, Mike, you want to say something?
No, I mean, that's my point, that it's shocking. Like, what this woman is doing with Star Wars.
Oh, no, it's...
I'm actually looking back at Revenge of the Sith, and there's a disgusting feeling I have. I'm sure you can guess what I was saying. Which means...
because I know what you said after you saw that film.
Exactly.
So.
And because it's so disgusting, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say. So all I will say is that at the end of the day, what you have now achieved, Kathleen Kennedy, is that you guys are going to go watch Rogue One, and you're going to pretend as if Felicity Jones is good. You're going to pretend as if she's exciting.
No, she has to be good.
Yes,
she just has
and you're going to pretend as if she's convincing as a rebel fighter who is so rebellious. She's so rebellious that the rebels have to rein her in. You're trying to tell me that someone who behaves like
a posh person from like the countryside,
Princess Gertrude, is a rebel that rebels have to rein in. Come on, guys. They're stretching and then they're stretching.
Even if it's like a fantasy, that's too much, man.
Look,
sorry, just a quick thing. Donnie Yen, that's an insult to Donnie Yen.
It's an insult.
Look, you have the film. I think the whole project is in trouble because if you're forcing things to give a particular message, the issue you're going to run into is what's happening with Rogue One. Because I think you could sort of get away with it with Force Awakens. You get away with it because it's the first one. You know, you've been away for so long, so pretty much people are going to buy anything you tell them. Plus, you're dealing with so many characters that already pre-existed. So you got Princess Leia was coming back, Chewbacca was coming back, Han Solo was coming back. You're dealing with all of that stuff. Luke was in there and all those sort of things, and people are expecting to see all these people. So you could sort of get away with it because it's the first one. With this, you're trying to fit a story in between two episodes or rather sort of in between episodes that already existed, but with characters that nobody's seen before. So now you're sort of caught between a rock and a hard place because you're saying that, okay, we want to have a female lead. So you already predetermined that, which is actually interesting because you're like, it's not an organic thing. It's something that you've just said that this is what we're going to do. So I'm like, okay, look, fine. And listen, for me, it's like, as Phantom of Hope said, it's like, if you're going to do that and you cast like whoever the girl that plays Arya Stark, if she was the person, then I'd already sort of accepted because she gives off the energy of the kind of character that would be a rebel who people are having trouble dealing with, and she's going crazy and doing all this sort of stuff.
Like as Arya Stark is,
Yeah,
she's
as
a
she
problem.
is. Yeah. So the thing is that Arya Stark in Game of Thrones does things that do not make any sense. That really make no sense at all.
They don't make any
but
sense.
you accept it because she sort of sells it to you.
She's from the road of England.
Yeah, she sells it to you because her personality and everything, you're like, oh, you know what? Okay, fine. The problem with this, and I don't know anything that this person has done, like the one who's doing Rogue One. I've never seen any of her movies, so I'm speaking from a position
Wait, her movies?
I've never, not one movie.
You said Rogue One, her movies?
Felicity Jones
Felicity
is
Jones.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the director.
I've not seen any of her movies, so for me, it's just a complete raw reaction. So when I see it, I'm like, how any filmmaker, any director, or like producer, anybody would buy this being a rebel in Star Wars? Like the thing about rebels in Star Wars, like let's just take two things into consideration. Most of the rebellious characters in Star Wars were Americans, and they were pretty much like surfer dude type guys. So the woman who was a rebellious character was Princess Leia, who is notorious for being sort of, if you want to talk about Carrie Fisher and everything, it's sort of, she brings off that sort of boyish,
but she had an English accent in New Hope as well,
does it matter?
which she then lost for the other
Yeah, no,
films.
but it doesn't matter. It's like you're giving off that sort of energy. The problem with this is like when I'm watching it, my feeling, like this is my feeling, which I said because I haven't seen anything I've done before. When I'm watching it, my feeling is that this feels like a princess who's being forced to fight with the rebels. If you're telling me that that's who this character is, then it actually makes a little bit more sense why this character would be this way. But that's not what the character is, because you're just a rebel, and you're talking about, like when you listen to the lines in the trailer, like, let's rebel, I'll rebel. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't connect. Because you don't sound like you're a rebel. You don't act like you're a rebel. You don't give off the energy of somebody who's off the rails. But you're saying all this stuff, so it's very, very difficult for me to connect with it. Part two is, and it's like a bigger, wider spectrum of this whole thing, is that you watch this and I genuinely don't know what the thread is. Like, I know that, okay, we know before going in that you're trying to steal plans to the Death Star. So the whole energy of this movie is based on what George Lucas already made. So we're not really getting a genuinely original situation here, because it's still very much connected to what George Lucas already made. Now, we already know that
It's a prequel.
Yeah, I know, but it's very connected to it. It's like, this is, the energy of this movie is strongly based on
Episode 4.
Yeah, on episode 4. Without episode 4, this movie doesn't really work. That's the reason why I say it's interesting when you think about how much work Georgie Porgy did. Because his movie was the basis of Force Awakens. Like, Force Awakens was a remake of A New Hope. You've now got this movie which is directly connected to it. So when I'm watching it, I'm thinking, all right, you've got all these characters, which is what I got from the trailer. You've got all these characters where we haven't really established anybody in this trailer except her. Really? Like, when you watch it.
Yeah, no, I can just make a very quick point. In my view, if there are no lightsabers, it's not Star Wars. Correct.
Okay, I don't know about that, but
For me, basically,
okay, fine.
It goes to the point of like how I think this is a pointless story to make, or so this story is literally about stealing the plans for.
Yeah, well, yeah, but but the thing is that exactly. But that's what I was saying. Like, it's a weird one to be doing, But I feel like therein lies the problem.
Same as a Han Solo film, pointless.
Yeah, but therein lies the problem. I think the problem is this: like, if you're trying to sort of Marvel the Star Wars franchise, you're trying to turn it to Marvel, basically, where you have movies of every character, and every year you have a different one. You're planning 6 years in advance.
Why?
Star Wars, the problem with Star Wars is this, right? It's very simple. George Lucas is a visionary. Like, he created this thing out of his heart and soul. And therefore, you never really knew what you were going to get. But whenever you watched his movies, it really felt like really genuinely from a guy's personal vision. So, as Phantom of Hope said, it's like, he didn't want to go into it, but no matter how bad you might have thought the prequels were, they still sort of leave you with a lot more than anything you could have possibly gotten from Force Awakens, because Force Awakens is like, it's very derivative of somebody else's vision. So when I looked at Rogue One, the reason why Rogue One has such great visuals, so to speak, is that all the best visuals of the Rogue One trailer come from things George Lucas created. That's the reason why it looks cool. It's like, it's George Lucas's vision you're watching. You're not watching somebody else's vision. You're watching George Lucas's vision, and what you're doing is creating nostalgia. What you're doing is you're tapping into nostalgia. Because everything that's great about the Rogue One trailer comes from your nostalgic emotions connected to seeing AT-ATs, ATSTs, the rebels with the rocket launchers, Darth Vader's clip at the end, even the costumes. The fact that you're now able to see the authentic costumes of the admirals and all the people that they were wearing in A New Hope, it just evokes a sense of nostalgia. There is very little in there that is like, oh my goodness, I never really saw that before. The way that when you saw Attack of the Clones, literally, Phantom Menace, I'd never seen anything like that before in Star Wars. It was just completely new. Attack of the Clones, I'd never seen anything like that before. It was completely new. Revenge of the Sith, I'd never seen anything like that before. It was completely new. That's what George Lucas is able to do. And that's the point of Star Wars, because he kept doing it.
So, Mike, you think the only reason that I think those visuals are good is because of nostalgia?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can say no. All you have to do is just say no.
Actually, I mean, let's just bring in Yoshi into here. I mean, so thoughts on this Rogue One based on what the Meg was saying. Is it really this really fueled by nostalgia, or should we really give Edwards a bit more credit based on what he's done?
It's a trailer.
This is the key. So I think that, like I said before, there's a brand that was created and established, and it's a brand that has a potency unlike any other thing in motion picture history.
Matrix.
Truth. But I'm telling you, Star Wars.
Matrix.
Okay. That's it. Yeah, that is very true. So what people shouldn't underestimate is that potency of the brand has literally managed to survive atrocity after atrocity, after crime, after crime, after crime. So in a sense, you've got to give George Lucas the extra credit for that. So Rogue One, why it looks so good is that there is a blueprint that any competent director can draw on, and if they have their own skill and talent, when they apply themselves using that blueprint as a framework, they will create something.
But still, isn't there more to this visually than what Abrams put down in Force Awakens? Because I think there is.
There is more to that, but then at the end of the day, you can make any film about anything. Why does this work? Because there is the fertilizer the foundation. Blueprint. The foundation is there, and it's still standing. The foundation still stands to this day. Numerous shoddy buildings have been built on it, and they've crumbled, but the foundation stands. Once you build on that foundation with competent materials, you end up with a Rogue One trailer that looks good.
So, Pete, so you disagreed with the Mac about this whole thing with the visual. So,
well, to be honest with you, those visuals, I'll be honest with you. It's like,
so you don't think it's nostalgia feeling is all?
Do you know what I don't understand? It's like, but why are we still talking about visuals though? When the movie, like, there's a substance, isn't it? Like, isn't that like the main thing? Haven't you been tricked enough with trailer after trailer from Bay and like all these trailers over the years, where you know for a fact that you're getting sold up the river? Like, you just know it. It's a guarantee. Like, we can accept that. So at the end of the day, it's like...
It's two sides of a coin.
We know it.
I'm sat here looking at a film that, from the second they said the film was going to be made, I knew it was rubbish. Because it's the concept of doing all these films is stupid. So the only thing for me being sat here, if I'm to sit here and analyze a trailer, is to sit here and analyze a trailer. Not to sit here and say what I think the film is going to be, because I believe this one is going to be trash. So at the end of the day, it's like, to analyze a trailer, I'm going to say, what does this film promise? It promises rubbish, but what does this film also promise? It promises lovely visuals. What does this film promise? It promises a bizarre soundtrack that's a butchering of John
Man,
Williams'
it's
music.
that
like,
butchered John
No, the thing is, I mean, that was the same with Godzilla. Boring film, bad film, but the visuals.
How do you know what
in
the
that
soundtrack
film
is going to
was?
be, though?
No, from what I've heard, I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe the soundtrack might be fantastic. Who knows? Now, all I'm going to say is that I watched a trailer that I apologize to everyone, but that trailer looked bloody fantastic.
Well, better than Force Awakens.
Of course it did. Like visually, that thing looks fantastic.
Yeah, but we keep saying visually. Is that all that makes a trailer good? Like, I already told half of us, like, I watched the trailer, I was underwhelmed completely. I'm like, okay, look, so I'm looking at pretty pictures.
But
the trailer didn't hold together.
Something.
It is something. Is that all that? Hence why I said what I said.
It isn't all there is, but it's still.
Yes, and we've
a
established
concept.
that. Yes, we've established. The visuals were
We've
good.
also established that Genesis is rubbish.
Does that, as a
Very
whole,
crap and boring and English.
does
But-
that encapsulate a trailer? No. Like, I looked at the trailer, I'm like, okay, so what? Okay, the thing
When
looks,
has
it looks
Con
pretty.
Ed has ever said visuals encapsulate a trailer? I mean, I'm just
But
who's ever said it.
we keep going back to the trailer. This thing is stinging me, man.
Only because
we keep
I'm
saying
trying to
that.
establish that my views on it aren't based on nostalgia. That's the only reason I'm going back to it.
Okay, fine. They're not based on nostalgia.
You know, because the point you're making is that you'd only really like those visuals based on the nostalgic feeling that you have based on
What I've said, listen,
listen.
what I'm saying is that, okay, forget all of that. Fine. It's not based on nostalgia. Fine. I am saying that I don't give a toss about the visuals, okay? That's basically what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't care. Because I've watched a lot of trailers where my God, look at how this looks. It looks so amazing. You go to the cinema, you feel like you just got punched in the face, okay? So, from my viewpoint,
I mean, the
looking
visuals
at
Reloaded
that,
were good, and that film was.
But
the
can
visuals on Revolutions were good.
Reloaded.
And Revolutions.
let's say,
But I picked out.
Yeah,
Reloaded
so what?
specifically.
Yeah, so one movie, the visuals were good on Blade 1.
what
And it was a good movie. So what was that got to do with anything?
what affected me the most about watching this trailer is that I think that in terms of the visuals, there was a bit of pain there watching this just now.
A bit of
Obviously,
pain.
a bit of pain,
Oh, pain.
because of that. This is a guy that those visuals I saw are things that I believe aren't easy to achieve. That if this guy was actually given a good script and
That's
good
the problem.
actors,
Yes, like I mean,
that
I
was-
still see a pretty looking film that could be boring. That's what I see.
it will be boring.
No, that's why the reshoots. Those are the
And
reshoots.
sticking Vader in at the end, for me, that's just like,
Look, they have to.
Yeah, I know that-
as a
like-
ruse, you know.
is this where we've sang?
Oh no, yes, as a ruse. No. Basically, it's the same thing with Force Awakens. They fooled you into thinking, oh my gosh, a black Jedi giving him the lightsaber in the crescendo of the finale.
Yeah, but
and then-
as you called it, which I couldn't believe he wasn't the Jedi. So anyway, it's one of those things that. So, look, it's what can you say to a world that delivers a trailer with the main character that's that much of a failure on every level? What can you say?
This is the thing. I can't understand. I can't understand how guys, you know, there are a lot of Star Wars fans out there who are watching this, who are watching that trailer. Like, what I don't get is that, okay, look, you watched A New Hope, you had Luke Skywalker, right? You've had Han Solo, you had all these characters, Lando Calrissian and everybody. How do you go from
Jar
that
Jar
to
Binks.
this? Forget Jar Jar Binks. I don't understand. I don't know how you go from that to this. Like, when I say from that to this, like, how do you then watch this and be like, yeah, this is fine?
Oh, you mean from New Hope Empire and thinking to this?
Yeah, to like, you know, you had Ray, and like, listen, we said everything we had to say about Ray. Like, it was just ridiculous. But then you now come to this, and I'm like, okay, you had Ray last year.
Yeah, right.
So you're going to go from Ray to this, to Ray again next year, to like whatever's going to come the year after that.
Han Solo.
It's amazing to me because I'm just like,
Who's an old character?
What do you mean by
Han Solo is an old character. Like, it's not even a
no,
new
but
character.
as Mike has just said, you're going to have a ping pong. So you're going to have Ray, then Yenoso, and then Ray again. So the three products from this new Kathleen Kennedy thing, I mean, it's deranged.
That's the thing, and listen, and a good point, and I think people should really ask themselves this question, okay? you got an American franchise where the first time you're rebooting this massive reboots or re-energizing of the thing, the first back-to-back are upper-class English actresses. Like, forget about them. Listen, if they were just the actresses were upper-class English or whatever. I mean, when I say upper-class, you know what I mean with the accents and everything. PR accents.
Posh.
Pronounce, receive RP accents,
Yes,
right?
Mom!
So you've got the RP accented actresses. So back to back. And you see, it's one thing if you got those actresses and they were acting American. So they were performing American. But you got them and they're acting English. Now, the only English character we had in Star Wars was bloody the Emperor and
Alec Guinness.
The Admiral.
Admiral and Alec Guinness. So those were who you had, and there was a reason for that because
They went the heroes.
They went the heroes, and Obi-Wan was supposed to be this mature
sage.
He was playing into that. He was actually that kind of guy. That's the point. You know,
English people don't make good heroes.
No,
I know that
they-
sounds.
that's a bias.
No,
That's a whole different.
That's a whole I mean, but that's going down.
I just think that's posh people that sound like
That's a whole different-
something you don't make good heroes.
Lord of the Rings, for God's sake, you can have a knight in that.
But
Who's
is it a hero, a swashbuckling
you know
hero
what?
in the
I
thing of
can't
Indiana Jones
on
and
this
Skywalker?
on the spur of the moment. I can't think of it, but that's a crazy statement to make because I'm sure people will pull some stuff out if you just say that. You know.
Yeah, please tell me.
Okay, fine. That's
A swashbuckling hero in the vein of Luke Skywalker or Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be a swashbuckling hero. That's the point. They wouldn't be swashbuckling. Swashbuckling heroes typically are a particular kind of thing who wouldn't be English upper class.
Yeah, but
that's the point.
Who are hero then? I don't think they're heroes.
That's-
Good villains, but
Well,
heroes no.
swashbuckling heroes, if you're going to talk about that, in olden day films were always British knights. They were always British men.
Fair enough.
Macaulay
Okay, but you see now,
Idols
that,
were always
you've just proved it wrong there against
I mean,
it. Just proved
I
it
don't
wrong
even know
there.
who those are, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You know, you just derailed like the whole thing. I forgot what I was saying. I forgot.
Well, my thing, with the point I really feel I need to make when it
Wow.
comes to this whole Force Awakens, Rogue One, is the whole feminist agenda. There's no room for pushing the feminist agenda when it comes to art. It irritates me. Because basically, I believe women are...
Whoa,
what was that?
I believe women
beware.
run the risk of being counterproductive or getting in our own way, because it's one thing to prove your worth and your merit, but it's another thing to impose yourself on something that just isn't really a good fit. Because I know, watching Rey and now watching Rogue One, it's not a good fit. It doesn't say anything negative about women, that some things just don't fit. Some outfits don't fit, some shoes don't fit, some roles don't fit certain actresses. I'm not saying that a woman shouldn't be the lead. I'm saying that this template, the Rey template, which literally has been photocopied in Rogue One, isn't a good fit. So any feminist that gets offended by that, you're not actually listening to the fundamental point. The key is, Star Wars is a thing. It's like an organism. And it doesn't work when you impose things on it that don't work with the way the organism generates itself.
Then someone goes, well, why is it got to be like that then?
Well, it has to be because it existed
it's been made. It's
before you.
pre-existing. It's made. You have to go back in time, talk to George Lucas and say, make it in such a way that I can bring it
I've
into
had arguments with people that have said that, Star Wars is not for girls. In general, the way it was made, or whatever you call it, that George Lucas actually said it with his own voice, that I made this for the 12-year-old boys. That's what George Lucas has said himself. And then someone has actually told me at a table that, well, why can't it be made for girls then? And the truth is that, well, I suppose there's no reason why not.
This is my answer to that question.
I guess it could.
That's my question. That answer to the question is like, stop being childish. That's like a child who says, I want a piece of cake. Then you give it some cake and it sees a kid with chicken and goes, I want chicken. Then you give it the chicken and goes and it sees a kid with a tennis ball and goes, I want a tennis ball. And then you give it the tennis ball.
Here's
my point though. I believe, and here's my argument. If there were millions of girls from the 70s who've been crying and picketing and saying, but we want to be involved in Star Wars.
Fine, then-
we want to be. Then I'm like, well,
It makes
there
no
you
sense.
go.
It makes absolutely it would make complete sense.
Then go for it.
But the
But,
thing is that-
but then, and the key thing that never happened.
That's
so.
why I made the
Because they
point.
couldn't
That's why I
give
made
a
the point.
monkeys.
That's what I made the point about an organism. An organism, it's a living, breathing thing. There, Star Wars is an organism because it has its motivation, which Lucas spelled out. It has its fan base. The fan base perpetuates it's what it is. What it is perpetuates the fan base.
Mostly
It works.
12-year-old guys.
It's a cycle.
dudes.
It's for boys. It's for boys. It's a cycle.
You know, we're taking this in like a whole.
But I think we've kind of nailed the whole Rogue thing. It's boring and crap.
Very useless. No. But then that's, of Yoshi's points, it is true. What you're saying is like
Because
respect what the property is. Don't change its content.
If I'm going to say Rogue One is crap, I'm qualifying my calling it's crap. Why is it crap? That's the point of what I'm saying right now. Because I don't just say things and put them out there in the cosmos. Rogue One, the trailer looks good, but it's going to be a crap film. I know it will be a crap film. And the reason I'm saying it's a crap film is because I feel I have identified the fundamental problem. The fundamental problem is you are trying to put a square peg in a round hole. And
but you see, the thing I think about it is like this, right? I think it's actually even deeper than that, and I feel like it's you what the situation you have is the whole idea of like gender swapping roles. I think that in and of itself is really a gimmick. So all the debate that people are having where they're talking about empowerment and everything to do with it, I'm like, yeah, okay, look, that's all well and good. And there is a place for that. Like there is like
For girl power?
Of course,
Like, there is. If you
what are
want to be a
talking
man, what's wrong with that?
You know, so there is a place for it. But is that a joke?
Spice Girls is girl power.
Yeah.
And there's a place for Spice Girls.
Okay.
And I just sang a bit of a Spice Girls
So-
song.
Okay.
Big deal.
So basically, yeah. So there's a place for it. I think the problem is like, look, when you turn it into a gimmick and it's like, you know, we are looking for the biggest property you have, and then you're going to switch. You're going to what?
No, sorry. After you finish, sorry to interrupt. I was talking about Jane Eyre, so continue, please.
Gosh, that character, Jesus.
Okay, and you're going to switch, and you're going to switch the characters, and you're going to switch the genders and everything. And like, look, the problem with that is, it's just another piece of the cookie cutter thing that you have. That's the issue. So why I say it's deeper than that is that, look, even when you deal with that, like you say, okay, look, put it this way, you could actually have made it a guy. Let's say it was a male lead in this Rogue One. It would still have problems because the entire thing is a creation that has nothing to do with the original sort of vision that George Lucas had for what Star Wars is supposed to be. So like you could have the guy be like the most manliest whatever thing you wanted to have, whatever. They would still probably pick, like, you know, so it would still be to have the same issues. It might be slightly different because like this like has some feminine stuff to it, blah, blah, blah. It's not the same issues. So from my point of view, when I look at it, I'm like, look, at the end of the day, when you're going to release this stuff every single year, you have to come up with stories for every single year. You've got to keep coming up with it. And that's very, very difficult to do. George Lucas couldn't do it. This is the reason why it took him 2 years in between them and took him 20 years in between doing the trilogy.
4 years, you know.
You know, yeah. You know, so he couldn't do it. And he's the guy making this stuff up. So what makes you think when you're not George that you're going to be capable?
He's laughing, man. Lucas is just laughing at this guy.
So at the end of the day, when I look at this stuff, right, and you look at the Rogue One thing, and you look at this whole stuff, and why when I think about when people talk about an agenda, I actually look at it like, which I say is deeper than that. It's like, no, this is like a financial thing. It's like, look, you want to make,
that's what I mean. That's
you want to
the
make
agenda.
money.
I said one of the first points I made was that it's formulaic and it's corporate.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact is, when I was talking about organisms and so on, that Star Wars is art. It's not business. So when you try to bring business into art, and you're not some supersonic genius, because it's possible to make business and art work together, but you have to literally be a genius. And I don't mean to offend her. I don't think Kathleen Kennedy is that kind of genius.
That's what James Cameron does.
She might be. That's what James Cameron does. He knows how to bring art and business together. I do not believe Kathleen Kennedy is good at doing such a thing. She hasn't. That's why we're in the situation we are in right now. So Rogue One is basically because you can see it's a formula because they think that's the money-making formula. That has no place with Star Wars, because Star Wars is really, no matter what you say, because it's made so much money, people make the mistake of looking at the pounds, the dollars and cents. It's actually all about art and vision.
I mean, I'd actually argue against that for the simple fact that it's a business thing. They bought something for 4 whatever billion. They want to maximize their profits and kill it. They don't have the same, listen, it depends on how. You see, George Lucas cared about Star Wars because it was like his child.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
For these guys... No, wait, hold on now. I'm not going to do this. But that's what I'm saying. No, listen. If I care about a kid, I want the kid to grow old. Because I want the kid to grow old. If I don't care about the kid and I think the kid is a slave, I just want to walk the kid till the kid dies, but makes me enough money with what the kid produces, so I don't lose out on my investment in buying the kid. Period. So when you've got a situation like Star Wars where it's been bought and paid for, all that matters is that you make as much as you can out of it before it dies. That's it. You don't have any emotional... You have no emotional attachment to it. But if it was George, when you have an emotional attachment to it, the thing is, you're making money from it. You need to make money. You need to continually make money, but you want to see it grow old because you care about it. So George Lucas was thinking about money, was thinking about making a profit, for sure. That's the reason.
But he's the creator.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But he thought, that's what I'm trying to say. They don't care about it dying. If by the time it dies, you've made 20 billion. That's what. So for example, for them it's like, if we're going to release a movie a year for the next 10 years or 15 years and then it dies, so be it. We would have made 20 billion by then or 30 billion. It's fine. George Lucas isn't thinking that way. He's like, I don't want it to die. It's like my thing. You know what I'm saying? So when it's your thing, you're thinking on two levels. You're thinking about your cash and you're thinking about I want it to live. But I want to make money as well, which is the thing.
I mean, for me, I think the main bottom line, which is pretty much what we've all been saying, goes to the crux of the matter, which is that Star Wars is George Lucas. George Lucas is Star Wars. So from the very moment that they even bought those rights,
he's already messed up.
No. Thank you. No. From the moment that it was even sold, that was even happening, Star Wars was finished.
Here's what he thought.
Who, George?
He thought that people were... He thought everyone was as clever as Steven Spielberg.
That people got it.
He really believed, him being the ultimate idiot and fantasist, thinking that he can have his cake and him being the ultimate idiot that he is, thinking that he could have his cake and eat it. He thinks that I'm going to sell it for $4 billion. But because people